Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you a few new functions or some kind of like hidden features if you don't really find them, but they are very, very powerful on columns. Let's take a look at these examples. You can see here, this is some sales performance analysis. It's called histogram analysis or bucketizer analysis. Basically, it helps us to analyze data into different buckets and see how the performance looks like. So this is a very nice, beautiful, insightful visualizations. But how we get that? Let's take a look at the demo. How we make this exactly the same thing. Let's jump to columns workspace and start from scratch. So the data are already connected. I will show you what it looks like. It's called this CSV data. So once we connected this data is loaded, first let's look at data samples. Just help us to understand what the data looks like. As you can see here, it's very, very standard, like order, sales. You can see ship mode, customer ID, customer name, segments, country, city, state, a lot of location informations, region, categories, and sales profit. You may notice that it's very easy to get some visualizations from this well-structured data already. For example, if I want to see bar chart of sales by region, you can right away get them, right? You can apply them and have further analysis on them. But today, what we're looking to is we trying to look into the sales itself. We want to see the histogram, the distributions, how they look like. It's very simple on columns. You just need to ask, let's say, histogram of sales. As you can see here, it generates a few different buckets based on the sales range. Like lowest value definitely is 0, and then you can see highest value is 15,800 something. And the majority of the sales actually is clustered in this range. So what we want to do is we can follow up with dive into query. Say we want to dive into this range. So what we do is basically we can say dive into range from 0 to 2,265, and then it will just like help us to focus on the range we are care about because we follow up with these questions. So it's kind of like a zoom in to this range and generate new buckets. It's still with like 10 buckets. I mean, if you want to have more or less buckets, you can also specify in your query, like say with 5 buckets or something like that. But our example is 10 buckets default, so we can basically apply this and have further analysis. So now you can see here, we already get a bucketized analysis on sales itself, and we can see the majority of the sales was made from this range, like 0 to 227. So that indicates our major range is from here. And this is notice that this is a count. It's like how many sales we made for this range, right? But what about if we want to see like how much total sales we made for this range? It's very simple. You can just include sales in your query. Include total sales, right? It will generate like 2 metrics for us. One is for count, one is for total sales. Total sales is dollar. So as you can see here, the data is very different because one is total sales is much higher than the count. At this moment, we want to using 2 axes for them. Otherwise, it's very hard to see in the comparison, right? So basically, what you do is very simple. You just go to the metric settings and just move in the sales sum to the right side. and keep the row count, like number of cells we do on the left side. So what we do is basically we can just like click this. So as you can see, it's very easy to very quickly to jump, make the cells on the right side and number of cells on the left side. By default, I think the bar chart is colored by key, but we want to differentiate the matrix, so let's just turn it off. By turning it off, as you can see, they actually using almost the same color. Let's just using some palette adjustment to refresh the color selections. So now it's very clear. We can see this is a number of cells we made, and this is the total cells we made, like in each bucket. So now we talked about we want to use in formula. How do we get the like average sales in each bucket? It's also very simple. Let me move in upsies. I don't want to maximize this. I just want to move into the top so I don't hide my main area. All right. So basically here it's very simple. You go to this analysis tab, and you can see we have a formula here. As it indicates, it's just like pound sign plus the index to reference the metric. So we can turn on a new metric, like turn it on, and give it a name. Let's say we want to see the average sales. This is like average values we sell, because we want to use in total sales amount divided by a number of sales, right? So basically it's number 2 divided by number 1. And this is our new metric. And just move it away, you can see this is a new metric generated. Sales price. If you, by default, is actually adding the new formula into the metric group. But if you want to just to see the final metric, you can just turn off this. It will basically replace the previous metrics. Not replace, just hiding the original ones. Just highlight this one, right? So you can see this is only average sales across the board in each bucket. Bucket basically means as original we define like number of sales we made for these buckets. So we want to keep this, and I think maybe a better, a more differentiated like palette will help. So let's just like switch to this one. It looks much more clear. Or we can use this one. This is what the demos we showed earlier. So now you can see we have already got the final results we want, and we can have some further styling. For example, for this one, for the number of sum of sales, we want to format it as dollar. So you can see this becomes dollar now. I can see 2 TPs become $2, and of course average sales is also dollar. Okay, so basically you can just format them. For general settings, we can tune some general look and feel. For example, I want to bring in the legend, so I can indicate indicate each color, each matrix name, and then we can do a little bit more tuning. For example, in the original graph, we showed a grid line. So let's just turn on the grid, column grid, row grid. This row grid looks pretty good. And now I want to set some threshold for the average sales. So let's say 250 is my target. I want to set a threshold here, and it will draw a target line for me. And I also want to add in some arrow to indicate this group has the biggest or if you don't mind, I want to put it here. All right, So here I can say most popular sales bucket. It basically means, yeah, I know. It's basically it basically means in this bucket we are made most of the sales. Noticeably, this bucket is also very good because we don't make a lot of a number of sales, but the total sum is actually very good. So the whole graph actually gives us very clear insights about which bucket or which pricing range as a company, as a business, we want to optimize for. So this kind of analysis is super useful if you're business owners. You want to embrace this, and it doesn't require you to do a lot of work. Just like go to lovely AI chat, keep asking your questions with follow-ups about what you want, and columns will do the job for you. Finally, I want to just save this and share, so we can share this, and I can put this final made link in the comments, so you can actually reproduce the same thing on columns but easily. Thank you.